So our lives changed during the pandemic, with people realizing the importance of staying fit and healthy. Working out from home is now the new normal, but I would say that's part of the new normal. Welcome to another exciting session of Fitness Pro Chat by Fiterobic. We aim to educate, assist, and guide everyone to stay fit and healthy. Please welcome the guest for the day, Shivangi Sarda. Shivangi is the founder of Fitness.Trail and a strength and conditioning coach. She had been a basketball player at the national level and had been a runner who has successfully completed her full marathon, ultra marathon, and half Ironman. Thank you, Shivangi, for joining us today. Let me start with the question that I have for you.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. Looking forward to the chat today.
Thank you, Shivangi. So I would say the first things first. Please let us know more about your venture Fitness.Trail and how are you assisting everyone stay fit and healthy. And what was the idea behind starting this venture called Fitness.Trail?
So my fitness journey started when I was like, I think 5 or 6 year old, and I started playing basketball. So I was into sports always. Then I went outside for my master's and I worked in corporate for a bit. But then when I realized that my idea of fitness was very, very much limited to the weight loss journey, that was the whole point, that how much do you weigh? And when I went out, I got the opportunity to see, how different the mindset of people there was. That, fitness was not just about how much you weigh. It was a lifestyle.
Yeah,
So that was something that
exactly.
motivated me. And, that was something which I really wanted to get back here with and, help people understand that being fit is not a task, right? That, you do something for 30 minutes and you
Absolutely.
forget about it. It's a big lifestyle change
Exactly.
that you need to adopt, and it just helps you in every aspect of your life. So I know that, when I am healthy and I'm fit, I'm exercising, it helps me in my day. Like, my energy levels are better. I sleep better. I don't have other issues like back pain and, all those things. So this was the main idea that I
Absolutely.
wanted to come and, spread the awareness about this. And that's when I started. So I started in 2019 January. It was a mobile fitness kind of a setup where I used to go to different locations and train people, do a lot of boot camps, and then I started my own studio in Jaipur C scheme. And then COVID happened, and I think that was a big challenge. So gratefully, a few
Exactly.
clients, they motivated me to take some online classes, and that's where our online fitness model came into picture. So now we are training people with different goals. Like, we've got general population, we've got athletes who we train for their specific goals. The workouts are not just focused on weight loss. I think weight loss is something which we don't even talk about much. I think it's a byproduct of the lifestyle
Absolutely.
changes which you adopt. So yeah, I mean, the whole idea about the program is to, help you change your lifestyle. It's not just about that 1 hour of exercise. It's about what you do during the day. So we motivate people to take up running. We motivate them to go for walks, hikes, do different activities to stay healthy. So that's the whole idea about Fitness.Trail.
Absolutely. I mean, I would say you were very right, especially with 2020. I think that I would call it as an year of the awakening because, I mean, most of us realized the importance of fitness. People who were already there, I mean, they started getting into more trainings and all of that. And people who, I mean, who were not at all part of fitness, I would say diaspora. So they thought, okay, let us join this, let us start working out at home. And at home fitness is, I would say, the next in thing. And everyone is trying to keep the expenses minimum with and starting with at home fitness. So with so much, and there's a lot of information that's already available online, especially,
Yeah.
I mean, you just Google and you'll find a lot of information available. So do you think it can be confusing for someone who is starting to wanting to get started with home fitness? Is it going to be confusing for them? And how do you want to, I mean, how do you assist them if someone wants to start with home workouts?
So first thing, how you rightly said that, it was an awakening for people to take up fitness. And I think home workouts where, it was not even a thought earlier, I think it worked out very well for a lot of people, especially who cannot step out of the house due to some reasons or, got like a very challenging work schedule. So I've seen that those people who had that barrier to start their journey or, go to the gym or go to the park have now really taken up some kind of exercise at home. So I think that's a big positive that has happened. Now, in terms of the resources available, it's endless. So you can just search and find out, okay, there is like, a full body workout and many things available online. But the problem is we don't know how authentic and how helpful it is for you. So here
Absolutely.
comes the difference between working out and training. Like, that is where I look at it in a different way, where you're just working out without any structure and you're just, say, moving around. That's one thing. That's also good. I think it's better than just not doing anything. But if you want a proper structure where, you're looking at an overall development of your body, your health, and, you want to minimize the risk of injuries. So that's where I think the role of experts come in, and, that's where that can guide you, because you can keep doing these workouts which are online, but if there is no structure, there will be a time where you hit the plateau, right? There will be no progress, and that
Absolutely.
is where a lot of people, they give up, because they're like, they're trying their best to reach their goals, but that point comes where there is lack of structure and they're unable to progress. So I think that's where picking the right resource, right source of information is very important here.
And you very rightly said, I mean, people tend to stop once they start this such kind of schedule because they may not have access to right resource, or they may get stuck at some stage. So how, according to you, or I mean, and that brings me to a next question, which is more on consistency. So how important is consistency, especially in a fitness program or a diet program that people usually want to subscribe to?
So I think for from my understanding and what I've seen is the biggest lag is the goal setting. So people set goals which are firstly number based. So they want to
Absolutely.
say lose X, Y, Z kgs in 3 weeks. These are not attainable goals. Firstly, and if you do the right approach, if you take the right approach and right training, it's not possible. Second is that
Absolutely.
when you're setting the goals, they set very big goals. Like say if you want to, I'll just take an example of running. Like if you want to run a marathon, you have to start from scratch. Like you have to do a 5, 10. You just can't wake up today and be like, tomorrow I want to run the marathon. So I think the journey
Absolutely.
from setting the goal and reaching the goal is where the problem arises, because I think the best part would be to stay consistent, is set small goals. That is what I do for myself and for my clients as well, where you look at progress, like okay, you're able to do a push-up. Wow, that's a good goal. Like okay, now next. So it needs to be a progress. There needs to be like different goals, and not something that you're looking at like something very big. And because it's
Exactly.
difficult, it requires a lot of patience, it requires a lot of consistency. That's where people give up. And another thing that I've noticed is that they start comparing with others, that somebody is able to do, say, maybe 10 push-ups, I'm unable to reach, but we don't know where they started, where the journey is. Everybody's body is different. So people really need to understand that, because not everyone can give 2 hours of training every day, because they're not full time into
Absolutely.
this. So that is one thing we need to understand, that whatever time you're able to take out with your lifestyle, with your commitments, it's amazing. So just focus on your journey and slowly and gradually build up.
No, I mean, very rightly said, because, and especially when you talked about that people, and I would say most people start their fitness journey by equating it to certain numbers, right? I want to lose X kgs or kgs. And then that brings me to the next one. I mean, typically, I would say people usually have very fascinating uh, ideas to come up when they say to not starting with their fitness programs, right? I mean, people have their own reasons for not being able to start
Yeah.
it, because I'm busy all day with work, or I'm at home doing with XYZ activity and all of that. So what are the typical apprehensions you feel, and how do you deal with these apprehensions in the users?
So a few of them I come across. First, how you said that we don't have time. I think that stems from very, like from our childhood, where exercise is looked at as a task, like and there are
Absolutely.
in our childhood it was also like running was punishment. That if you're not doing something, you go for running. So I think it starts from a very small level, where it's not looked at something as a lifestyle. Like I think exercise should be something that how you eat
Okay.
a meal. It should not be a question, it should not be an option. Like it should be part of your lifestyle. So when people say that they are busy, I feel that I think it's an excuse, to be honest. Like of course I'm not asking that
Right.
you should work out 7 days a week and 1.5 hour every day. That's not possible, but at least 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes I'm sure you can take out. So that is one.
Absolutely.
Second is I feel that people are intimidated because they feel that they might not be able to follow a fitness routine because uh, it all comes with a lot of restrictions. Say if somebody's going on a diet program or a nutrition program, so you can't eat carbs, you can't eat fat. So there's a lot of restriction and negativity around the entire concept of going on a diet, where I feel it's something very basic. Unless you have a very specific goal, it's all about moderation, it's all about balance and enjoying. So that is one. And second is that people need to understand that not every workout or session should be difficult, right? You should not be
Yes.
walking out of the gym where you're not able to walk, you're out of your breath, So people find it that it's very challenging. That is the main thing. I feel that there's a lot of negativity around the whole concept of going on a diet program or workout. So that is where they feel that, okay, it's not for me. I can't push my body so much. Whereas if we make it very simple, where you don't have to push your body in every session, you have to listen to your
Mhm.
body, and the workout needs to be designed according to yourself. So I think it'll just be easier for people to take it up.
And I think one of the other reasons is probably sometimes people also overestimate themselves, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure you have come across a lot of such clients. People believe that, okay, this may be too simple for me, and without realizing that these are the simple things that can really bring a lot of change in the lifestyle and a lot of help to their being healthy, than trying something which is coming out from, say, a social media influencer. So I will probably try and put this across, and I think this is a very interesting conversation which I would want to have, is mostly because, see, I think there's a very thin line between social media influencers right now and fitness professionals, right? I mean, there are a lot of videos that every influencer just comes out and publishes it, doing a lot of different types of poses, which is actually sometimes humanly not possible. I mean, you requires to invest at least 100 hours before you master such poses, be it yoga or any other exercise. So, where and how exactly, or I would say, in how exactly would you help your clients and others who have joined today to understand this kind of differentiation and the importance of simplicity, which we sometimes tend to avoid actually.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of confusion out there. Even though I've studied this subject, I'm certified, but I also get confused sometimes when I look, because in the end it's human brain, human body, where you look at something and you get
Absolutely.
influenced, right? So
I agree.
that's the main point, where people need to understand that influencers, great, they're doing a great job, they are motivating you. I think we should look at them
Absolutely.
as getting inspired and motivated. But when it comes to your health, your body, you need to be very careful, right? You just can't do what XYZ person is doing. Like, for example, for myself as well, my goal in running is something else. So if I'm running, say, a 2 hour run every weekend, that's purely because I have a goal. It's not because, if you want to be healthy, you have to run 20 kilometers every weekend. So people need to understand that everybody's body is different, their goal is different. And to reach a certain level, I'm sure if, somebody's doing handstand or headstand, that's amazing. But they must have done a lot of practice. So that's where a lot of injuries
Exactly.
are also
Exactly.
happening, that it
Yes.
looks amazing. And that's what I'm saying, that we should be inspired by such people who are out there. But there is a process. So, you must take help from a professional to reach there. And then we don't understand there are a lot of things which even I got to know later, that, there are a lot of angles where you can take photos from, or, there's makeup, there's like so much editing happening that it's difficult to actually
Exactly.
differentiate that what is the right thing and what is the
Mhm.
actual thing behind the
Absolutely.
video. So yeah, I think when it comes to your health, it's very important that you go to a professional. People are really, now this field is evolving every day. So even I keep studying, I keep learning every day because there's something new. So I think if you invest, a little bit of time, a little bit of money in this direction, it will help you in long term. Because we should not look at being fit as, okay, today I want to look a certain way. It's a long term investment. It's going to take,
Absolutely.
a lot of years for you to reach a certain goal. So yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's very nicely put across. And so another one here is like, what are the top five mistakes that people should avoid, especially when working out at home? And I'm sure, I mean, there's no one to say guide us when we are working out at home ourselves. So what are the top five mistakes which you feel that people should avoid?
So building up from our chat earlier, first is goal setting. Like think about why you want to exercise. Let's let go of
Absolutely.
the weight culture and look at that exercising is going to help you with your work professionally, personally. Your energy levels will improve. There are so many other things that is going to help you with. So first is goal setting. Set realistic goals. Set two, three goals, and try to achieve one and then move on to the other one. That's one. Second is I've seen a lot of people they skip warm up and cool down, including myself, especially post runs. Like I think cool down is something that we just take it very lightly. When you're done with your workout, you're like, okay, fine, just
Exactly.
move on. So I think that is one thing that really is important. So 5 minutes, even if you have like 30 minutes in your day for your training, make sure you're doing a good 5 minute to 7 minute workout and a good cool down because that's extremely important. So that is the second thing. Third is that people just focus on doing cardio because they think that they'll lose fat or weight because of doing cardio. So they're just stuck to one kind of training, high intensity interval training, cardio. They look up for videos like exercises for belly fat reduction. So there is nothing as spot reduction. So we need to stop
Yes.
following these videos. It can be part of your training, but that should not be the whole thing that, the entire week you're just doing ab workout. That's not going to really help you reduce your belly fat. So I think that is one thing. And the fourth thing is that people take it as it's a secondary thing. Like if you have a workout slot, stick to that. That should not be moved around because you've got another task. And that's where the consistency comes as a challenge because you're working out at home. It's very easy that, okay, somebody's walked in, you're like, okay, fine. Whereas if you go to a gym, that's 1 hour is there for the gym. So I think this is something which
Yes.
I've seen when people they do their own workouts, they take it lightly. They're like, okay, I can just shift it another hour. I can do it later, and that's when they end up missing it, and that's where the consistency and the motivation goes down. And the last was just a bit in terms of nutrition. Like you need to be very careful when you're eating a lunch, heavy meal or a dinner. There should be good gap between your meal and your exercise. I know people who eat like a heavy meal and after 30 minutes they just jump into doing some kind of high intensity workout, which is extremely wrong and harmful for your body. So you need to plan your workouts properly so that you don't end up harming your body rather than getting better.
So, I mean, that brings me to another one, especially when we talked about the veracity of the content that's available online. And so, how do one actually differentiate between what's true and what's not true? Because that's where the crux lies. Because if we blindly follow a blog or a video, it it may be more harmful to us in the long term than maybe short term we may see some kind of benefit, but yes, in the long term it may be harmful than we can even assume. So how exactly we should be able to differentiate between what's right and wrong when it comes to the veracity of the content online?
So I think it's very difficult to really differentiate because the first mindset and the first thing which people look at is your number of followers and your content. And I think I know a lot of trainers, coaches personally who are not good at social media. Like they don't have time to put the information
Yeah,
out there, but they are amazing coaches. So
absolutely.
it's very very difficult, and these people have a lot of experience. I think that is the most important thing, but they're not able to put it out there. So it's difficult
Exactly.
to like really differentiate because in the end, what is pleasing to your eyes is something that will catch your attention. I think that is one thing. But the first thing should come with a change of mindset is that are you looking at health as a short-term goal where you're looking at fast results? Anything that tells you that workout like 7 days belly reduction workout, that's not going to happen. So, things like 21 days to lose 10 kgs, all those things you need to be very careful of and you need to stay away from such things. So, I think the main thing is for people to understand that there is no shortcut, there is nothing as fast results. So, if you find something of that on your social media, it's probably a good idea to, just take motivation from them and not try to follow them. So that is one. And certification, I know that's not the last thing and the only thing people should look at because experience also plays a major role. But if you come across somebody who's actually putting in the effort and time to really go out there and study and learn in the subject, they are the ones you need to reach out to, because they are actually trying to make an effort to understand what is right and wrong, and they'll guide you in the proper way. So that is one. And of course, the experience of the person. Like, there are so many people out there who've been in the industry for a
Mhm.
long time. So what they will tell you, rather than somebody who's just, putting videos. So I think people are smart enough to make a call there. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's I would say nicely put across again. Another one is especially, I mean, see, someone who is wanting to get started at home with workout. So what are the top three recommendations that you would have for them so that they can get started with their daily routine to a healthy and fit lifestyle?
First is that you need to set, like, how I mentioned earlier, that you need to have a time slot and set realistic goals. Don't be like that, okay, I want to work out 7 days, 7 days, I'm going to go all out. And stop looking at your watch in terms of calories burned, because that is something which people are now focusing on, that in a workout, I need to burn 500 calories. Whereas it doesn't
Yes.
happen this way, because, it's a smart watch. It's great to track a few things, but it can't tell you how much calorie you burn, because that depends a lot on your body type, your structure, many
True.
things. So you need to stop focusing on workouts where it says 500 calories in 30 minutes kind of a thing. That is one. Secondly, you need to listen to your body, because there are days when you cannot push both mentally and physically, because there are other things to do in life as well. So if you come across that, okay, I'm unable to manage, then you don't have to, like, push in a workout. You can just take it easy, do yoga, or something that's relaxing to you. So I think that is one. Second is you need to add variety, because I think that's where some people, they get bored of a certain routine and they give up. So do what you enjoy. Like, it's a good way to add a bit of strength training. That is extremely important if you can, under the right guidance. Add walking. Just different ways to stay active is one thing that people need to focus on. And third is, yeah, like, don't do too much too soon, because I think that is where the injuries will happen. That is where you will create a negative image of exercising, because if you do it the right way, the injuries will not happen. Like, I know people, they are not ready to say do weighted squats, but the form is not right. But because it's on the video, or they've seen somebody else doing it, they want to just do it, not worrying about this form. And, that's where the injuries happen. So it's not because of
Absolutely.
an exercise, it's because of how you've progressed. So you need to be very careful of where you're at, in your fitness journey and your fitness level, and then only progress in your workouts. Yeah.
So I'll pick one from here, especially when you talked about the injury doing too much too soon. See, what happens is most cases, if someone just gets injured because of, say, they ran, I mean, sub distance, and which their body wasn't ready to take the load, and then they got injured, or because of some exercises or some form issue. What happens is typically people go back to their reclusive style, and then they say, okay, this is not for me, right? So, what are your thoughts, and how would you try and bring back those audiences who would say want to get started? They were working out, but out of injury, because of injury, they had to take rest or maybe go into a recovery mode, and now they want to get started once again.
Yeah. So one thing is, I think the approach has changed now, that earlier, if somebody was injured, they were asked to rest completely. I think that is a completely, like, I mean, it's an approach that was long done earlier. Now it's changed. So if, say, your knee is injured, there are so many ways where you can continue training your body. And the research
Yes.
also suggests that, for example, if your right knee is injured, if you're training your left, there is some strength gains on the injured side as well. So there is research for the same. So I think if somebody got injured due to, say, running or any kind of exercise, you should not give up, because that's part of the journey. Like, it is going to happen. It's not going to be a smooth line altogether. There are going to be ups and downs. So that's where you
Absolutely.
need the right guidance. Now you need to understand, and that's where, how you mentioned, between difference between influencers and the experts come in, where you need some guidance. I know that people are, still not in the mindset of spending a lot of money, or even a little bit of money in this direction. But if you look at it this way, where you're investing in an expert, it's going to help you long term. It's going to help you not get injured, reduce your medical expenses as well. So that's where, when
Absolutely.
I have a few people who have been injured. I have myself been injured where, there was a time where there was a question if I should continue running or not. So there are ways to, do rehab. If you cannot do running, there are different, you can do cycling, many other activities which can bring you back to the old sport or, your old
Exactly.
activity. So I think,
Exactly.
yeah, and that's the main thing, that goal setting is very important. As a coach, for me also, I'm learning throughout where, I can't expect the same level of motivation from everybody. Not everyone wants to run a marathon, right? That is something which I need to understand, and I cannot push the person to be that motivated as well. So that's where, as a coach, also it comes into a picture where we need to understand where the person is coming from, what are their goals, what is their lifestyle. Because if somebody is working, say, 10 hours, it is difficult for that person to, go for run every day or, do a workout every day.
Absolutely.
So we need to
Absolutely.
take in a lot of things, and there is a lot of traveling involved for a lot of people. They have other
Yes.
commitments, social life. So I think if you look at being healthy and fit as an overall approach rather than just focusing on workout, it really helps. There are people I know who will just sleep for 4 hours because they have to wake up early and get a workout. Once in a while,
Exactly.
yes, good, but in the end, long term, you're hampering your health because sleep is also important. So I think for
Yes.
those people who have, seen some kind of injury or, lost motivation, they need to change their perspective and look at being healthy and fit as an overall, package, and not just exercise for 1 hour.
So, another one, especially on the importance of nutrition, because obviously fitness and nutrition go hand in hand and they are very much complementary to each other. So, what are the recommendations that you would have to people on the nutrition side? I mean, in terms of what is that they should be eating and how much they should be eating while they are continuing with their fitness programs?
So I think how a workout program is different for everyone. Fitness, like nutrition also, it's a very very complicated subject. Where if I say that, like I eat rice for dinner, some people will be like, how come you're eating rice? So it comes from my journey where
Very
when
good.
I was still playing at national level basketball, but I gave up rice, I gave up potatoes because of lack of information, lack of knowledge. Because carbs make you
Yes,
fat was the entire, picture all around. So I think in
exactly.
terms of nutrition, see, everyone's goal is different. Everyone's, the journey where they are at is different. So if you need expert advice, you should go for them. Like, there are certified nutritionists who can really guide you. But from my experience, I
Exactly.
think we don't need to give up on anything. You don't need to give up on carbs, fat, nothing. It is all about eating everything in the right balance and exercising. Because in the end, if you give up on something, it really starts hampering your day as well. So I know I have seen it myself where, I would restrict myself from not eating, say, rice or chapatis because that would make me fat. But you don't realize how it's going to impact you in your day. Mentally also is going to
Exactly.
be, because there is some
Exactly.
restriction which you are creating in your day. So I think it's
Right.
all about enjoying food. I think we should be grateful that we've got, like, such variety of food in India and enjoy it. But of course, if you've got like a certain goal or a medical condition, then you must reach out to a nutritionist for guidance.
Absolutely. I mean, that brings us almost, I would say, towards the end of our session today, Shivangi. So before we go, based on whatever I mean, the inputs that you shared, it would be good if you could please summarize and share top three recommendations for all of us so that we can take back home from this entire 30 minutes of discussion.
Yeah, so one will be that just get started. Whatever it is, whatever you enjoy, just stay active. And being active doesn't mean just, working out in a gym or just lifting weights. It's about the entire lifestyle. Something which I truly believe is the steps of the day. A lot of people, they say that you shouldn't be looking at the watch and, technology, but I feel
Yes.
that really helps you to stay active. We should be
Yes.
moving. Like, I know people who work out for an hour and they're just sitting the entire day. So, the
Exactly.
entire, yeah, so it is about being active. So that is one, that try find ways. Like, I take stairs whenever that's an option. Whenever I'm talking on the phone, I will be walking, so that, I'm getting some movement in my day. So that is one. Second is goal setting, very important. Set realistic goals. Do not set goals because somebody else is doing, say, a marathon. You want to run a marathon, you need to understand where you're at and, what is going to bring you joy in the end. that is one. And yeah, don't give up, just stay consistent. Even if you miss, say, for a week due to one reason, don't wait for the first of the other month to get started. Like, it's okay. We all miss workouts. That should not make you feel guilty, because that is something a lot of people, they say that on the weekend, if they go out, they eat and, have a good day with friends or family, next day they are guilty.
Yes.
So there should be nothing as guilty. It's all about, just like an overall approach where you're enjoying food, enjoying with,
Yes.
your workouts, and yeah, just stay consistent.
So thank you so much, Shivangi, for joining today. Thank you everyone for who joined us today. Do stay tuned for our another session on Fitness Pro Chat by Fiterobic. Please do like, share, and follow Fiterobic page and also Shivangi's Fitness Trail. Thank you once again, everyone. Thank you, Shivangi.
Thank